Okay guys, so our third installment of our study guide review is going to be, I can understand that fractions represent division. When I look at numbers 10 through 13, I see 4 fractions. One thing that you need to know, or that we've already talked about, is that this line represents division. So what this is saying is that 4 is being divided by 5. Another way that we could write this is that we could say that 4 is being divided by 5. So when I look at my answer choices, I see that A looks like right here, but B is the opposite of what I have. But you need to know that the numerator goes on the inside, the denominator goes on the outside. So our answer to this question is letter A. When I look at number 11 is saying 8 being divided by 20. Another way I can write that is 8 on the inside, 20 on the outside. So when I look at my answer choices, I see that D matches what I've got. No, it doesn't. Just kidding. I see that C matches what I've got, 8 divided by 20. And then when I look at number 12, now we have 5 divided by 4. The first number goes on the inside, the second number goes on the outside. So 4 divided by 5 looks like letter B. And then we have 20 divided by 8. So we have 20 divided by 8, where we have 8 on the outside and 20 on the inside, which looks just like D. I'm sorry I got those backwards a second ago. But not only do they want us to match them, they want us to find the solution. So we're actually going to now do the division. So when I look at number 10, I've got 4 being divided by 5. 5 goes into 4 0 times. 0 times 5 is 0, so we're gonna pretend like we've already done that part. But when I look at this, I know that I can add a decimal without changing the value of a number, and now 5 has 2 place values to go into. So 5 goes into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. So 4/5 is the same thing as 0.8. When I look at letter C, we had 8 divided by 20. 20 cannot go into 8. But it can go into 80. So I added a place value so that we could see what happens, but because I added a decimal, I have to move it up. 20 goes into 80 4 times. 4 times 20 is 80. 80 minus 80 is 0. So my answer to letter C is 0.4. When I look at number 12, I've got 4 going into 5. 4 goes into 5 1 time. 1 times 4 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now, because this was not a 0 and my answer was 1, I have to add a place value so that I can bring it down. But because I added a decimal, I have to bring the decimal up. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 2, 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. I add another 0 and bring it down because that was not. And now I know that 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. So my answer to letter B is 1.25. And I'm glad that my answer was greater than 1 because my denominator is smaller than my numerator. If the numerator is bigger, then your answer is going to be bigger than 1. If the numerator is smaller, then your numerator is going to be smaller, your answer is going to be smaller than 1. And now we're going to look at D. D tells us that we're doing 20 divided by 8. 8 goes into 20 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. 20 minus 16 is 4. Because this isn't a 0, I'm going to add a decimal, take it up, add a 0 so I can bring it down. 8 goes into 40 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. So my answer is 2.5. I hope this helps. This is something that I'm pretty sure you need to practice just a little bit more before your test tomorrow. But otherwise, I hope this helped, and stay tuned for installment number 4.